True power in music doesn't actually come from adding more. It comes from something else, and I'm going to break that down for you in this video today. I have an experiment for you. There's two examples I'm going to play you, and I want you to let me know which one do you think makes the drop sound more powerful. Let's jump into this. So that's example one. Now let's say example two. So let me know in the comments down below. Now, the truth is that no matter which one you choose, the thing that I'm playing with here and the secret to making music sound powerful is actually something called contrast. Now, what is contrast? Let's put it this way. If everyone around you has a 1-bedroom flat and you have a 4-bedroom house, then in contrast to everyone around you, you actually feel like you're rich and you actually feel like you're living in a mansion, right? But let's say now everyone around you has a mansion with 16 bedrooms and then you have like a 4-bedroom house. Relative to your surroundings, how do you now feel about your house? You don't feel like it's the biggest anymore, right? This is how contrast works. But actually the same can happen in music on two levels. On the first level, it can happen in volume, in how much is added in. But then on the second level, that's where things get really deep, and we'll get into that a bit later in this video. But to attack the first level, we firstly have to understand what makes this section tick. The first reason why this works is because there's contrast in frequency spectrum, but then there's also contrast in elements and in arrangement. For example, if I go over to the drop, have a listen to how it sounds now, and then I'll show you how it sounded before. Then let's have a listen to how it sounded before. So what is the difference between these two? I was able to add contrast on the drop. So how did I do this? By simply removing and muting elements and having a moment where it just focused on this synth. What did that allow me to do? It allowed me to play with frequency contrast and arrangement contrast, because we went from this string arrangement, we had a bit of top end in it, it had some mid-range in it, we also had the low layer of the bass underneath it as well that was droning. So then in this section, by muting everything else and just going to that mid-range sound that had a little bit of top end in it, it enabled that snare to really cut through with clarity because it was in contrast to the section before. Case in point, this is where you have to really use your ears now. Pay attention to how the brightness in the drop shifts depending on what musical elements I have in the section before. So at the moment it played and it sounded like relatively bright, right, in comparison to the section before. But now I'm going to add the synth into the section before. Have a listen to how the frequency spectrum of the drop feels like it changes. all I'm going to do is mute that one synth and listen to the difference in contrast again. Do you see how all of a sudden it sounds brighter? Then why is that? Well, because this sound here has so much top end in it, right? Let's have a look. Because all of that frequency is inside of this sound, but then all of that frequency isn't in the next section, then it can make the next section feel smaller. So then what are the two options? Well, I can find that frequency and I can try and add it into the next section. But then now we run into a problem where the more elements you're actually adding into your production, the more issues you're going to have with masking, the more issues you're going to have with finding space. So then what I really want, and this is what I said, the secret about the frequency contrast, is I want to be able to fill up the entirety of my frequency spectrum, which means the lowest lows are hitting 100 hertz, around 100 hertz, 50 to 100 hertz, that kick is hitting, right? Mid-range elements around 500 to like 2K. And then my top end elements from 2K all the way up are sitting on top. So I have a full frequency spectrum. And by making the section before that smaller in frequency spectrum, then what's going to happen is as the music's going on, it's going to go like this. And then when the beat drops, it's going to go even smaller. And then it's going to explode to the full frequency spectrum. And this is how you can add contrast in the arrangement of your frequencies in order to truly make things powerful. If you want to know more about this, then I truly urge you to study EDM as a genre of music, because they've really perfected this. If you notice, before the beat drops, what does the DJ always do? So my name is Alex Elliott. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you do want to hear more about this track, then I will leave it linked here and you can check out more of my music there. But other than that, if you like this kind of content, it's a new kind of content for me, please do me a favor. Let me know in the comments down below. And if I get enough likes and comments and I see people engaging with it, then I'll be sure to make more content like this in the future.